Well, good morning or good evening, wherever you may be across the world, folks. We welcome you back to Motorsport Australia, the OFI Cup. We are back for yet another round of action. We are now heading to pastures new. It's Mexico City. We stay on the Americas continent and now set to race around the Mexico City circuit. With Gregory Prisball sat at the top of the championship, it is surely all to play for as far as he's concerned. Various other drivers, though, looking to register some final blows in the championship to try and keep their hopes alive. Campbell Adams, of course, most notably, and Riley McKay, especially after pouncing into P2 at the close of our last round at Texas. George Morgan here, back in the commentary box, and joining me once again is the one, the only, Lindsay Muddle. Lindsay, how are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fantastic, George. It is once again a pleasure to be here. And yeah, championships on the line. Gregory Prisball, he can take home the honours here tonight if things go his way. We've got a lot of points about that to discuss. But yeah, Greg in the hot seat to try and win the OFI Championship.
Yeah, it could all happen here tonight, folks. With a win in itself, it could be enough. It will be enough to send Gregory Prisball home with the title. Let's take a look at the calendar, though, as we all know it. We have already seen off 7 dates so far this campaign. Gregory Prisball marched on with 4 wins in succession through our season starter at Australia. We then moved through to Losail, where he picked up his second. He picked up his third at Montreal, and then Imola as well for round 4. Campbell Adams then returned his name to the top, and he did it twice in succession, did he not, folks? Silverstone, then Spa, 2 iconic tracks that he managed to master. It was then a new name that was ushered in for this season, Riley McKay, who went ahead and took victory at Austin, Texas last time out. We are now here at Mexico for our first part of a final 3 visits here in the OFI Cup, and we'll wait and see who's going to be listing themselves to the top for this one. Looking ahead though, the season's grid, we can just quickly give you a reminder as to how it is stacked up for each and every single round we make our way through the championship. Jack Humphreys and Viper line up at McLaren, Oscar King and Sebastian King, 2 Kings aligned at Ferrari, with Gregory Prisball, Matt Plevey at Red Bull, Marcus Costa, F1 Ferrari Pro at Mercedes, Ryan Bell, Thomas McInnes at Aston Martin, Campbell Adams and Miauzi at Alpine, Oxchillo and Websey at Haas. Then we have Riley McKay, MJ Roller at Racing Bulls, Potato 101 and Yusuf Said at Williams, and Ryan Cox and Joshua Lee at Sauber. Of course, in terms of tonight's grid, quite a few changes with reserves stepping in. Jack Humphreys flying solo at McLaren here this evening. The King brothers are only going to have 1 King down at Ferrari. Sebastian King, that is. Oscar King not racing here this morning or this evening. Whichever side of the globe you are, of course, on. Gregory Prisball, Matt Plevey at Red Bull. We have Marcus Costa, Flubber at Mercedes, Ryan Bell and Thomas McInnes at Aston Martin, Campbell Adams lining up alongside Websey at Alpine. We then have Oxchillo and Joey Snarf at Haas, with Riley McKay and Apollo Pepsi at Racing Bulls. Potato 101 at Williams with Yusuf Said, and Joshua Lee flying solo at Sauber as well. Now, in terms of where we are going tonight, it is Mexico City. What are your thoughts as we touch down at Mexico City in itself here, Lindsay?
Well, I really like this race circuit. I think that it provides some fantastic overtaking opportunities and some fantastic racing. There's always a lot of room. You can go very, very, very much 5 abreast heading into turn 1, as we've seen more than enough times in real life on lap 1. So it definitely means there's at least space to go 2 by 2 through the first couple of corners for overtaking opportunities. And as someone who actually drove in, I believe it was the last individual OFI at this track, yeah, I like it. I think it runs well for racing with a bit of dirty air. The S's can become quite painful, but I think that the racing should be good here tonight. Yeah,
no doubt, and I would be, I'm sure in clear agreement with you as well on that fact. In the meantime, folks, before we do get stuck in to our festivities here at Mexico, we can now catch a hot lap from the 2-time F1 Sim Racing World Champion, Brendan Lee.
How to master Mexico on F1 2025. Out of the final corner, start using the overtake button once you engage 6th gear and burn the battery all the way down until 50% here on the pit straight. Braking at the 100-meter board down into 4th gear, prioritize the exit of the corner to open up the following left and following right with the overtake button and DRS enabled on the exit. Holding down the overtake button all the way until you reach your braking point of the 100-meter board for the following left-hander. Clunk over the inside curbing to open up the track and keep it in 3rd gear through this section to minimize rear sliding. Do a wheel flick through here to minimize any oversteer the car might have, and into the high-speed sequence of corners. Cut as much of the grass on the inside as possible. Tap the overtake button and now hold down the overtake button as you go flat through the right and through the left. DLS enabled, ending sector 2 all the way down until your braking point is the overtake button enabled into the final sector. Really critical to not overslide the rear axle here. Massive wheel flick into the hairpin, clunk over the inside curbing, final apex of the lap, clunk over the inside curbing here, maximize your traction potential, and this is a lap here in Mexico City.
Thank you to Brendan Lee, I should say, for thanking us. Giving us his hot lap guide here at Mexico City. We really do appreciate him, as always. 2-time F1 Sim Racing World Champion as well. Obviously, back at our last race, of course, we went racing at Texas, didn't we, folks? We could show you the race results and quickly run through those for you. Riley McKay was, of course, your winner by 9.5 seconds ahead of Gregory Prisball, who, despite not winning, still managed to pull out a fantastic second-place visit. Oscar King sits just behind in 3rd at the end of play, so it's a very familiar-looking top 3 as you're seeing it on your screen. Jack Humphreys also recovered late to achieve a 4th place as well. Of course, largely not at his very best at this stage, Jack Humphreys, but it's always great to see a legend of Aussie sim racing here racing with us once more. Yusuf Said finishing in 5th, who was largely brilliant in qualifying on the build-up to this particular race, and in fact started on the front row. Oxchillo could also cause a stir. He did indeed move into 6th to come the end of the race at Texas, ahead of Thomas McInnes, Marcus Costa, then Matt Plevey, Sebastian King, achieving his first points finish ever at the close of our last race at the USGP. Let's have a look at the standings, though, as they stand, because this is what's important. Gregory Prisball on 156 points. Now finds himself at the moment, dare I say it, I'm going to take a stab at 49 points away at this mere stage. Now I think that's probably wrong. I think it's 55. I'm not quite sure. We'll get back down to the gap shot. 49. I was right the
49.
first time. It was 49.
Yeah.
I was right the first time. I'm not giving myself enough credit. Gregory Prisball on top by 49 points. So nothing. Well, I say nothing separates. It is quite a large gap, but anything can happen here today, especially around Mexico where things get rather tight. Riley McKay could yet cause a twist. Campbell Adams there could be one to watch as well in the long run. Oscar King, who's not going to be appearing here this evening as well, 69 points back from the top, which will give some respite to Campbell Adams, who is only 2 points ahead of King at the moment in 3rd place. Jack Humphreys down in 5th on 56, 100 points back from Prisball. And then we have Yusuf Said, Oxchillo, Ryan Bell, Marcus Costa and Trent Newton. But, I mean, talking about Gregory Prisball's run over recent times, largely this championship is owed to the fact that he has been so good at the start of this series. Taking those first 4 wins have been absolutely crucial to how this championship has gone here, Lindsay.
Yeah, and especially those first 4 wins were always going to be crucial, but Campbell Adams was gone for a lot of those rounds as well, which made the punch hit even harder, and I think that was a big deciding factor when it came to the way that this championship was going to play out throughout the course of this whole season. And I think that that really played into his hand, because even with all of the wins, Campbell Adams punched back later on in the season. Had he been there, even in the slightest way, it could have been a lot closer. But Gregory Prisball taking those 4 wins, it was unbelievable form, and I'm sure we'll see him on the top step again before this season finishes.
Yeah, no doubt, folks. Well, I'm pleased to say that we're now in a position where we can bring you some on-track action as well. So we will swiftly move into the game. And yes, there you can see it. Riley McKay on your screens as well, folks. Our winner from last time out, back at COTA. Well, he returns now here, this time to Motorsport Australia OFI Cup. And we'll be looking to perhaps even launch a charge here at Mexico to become king of the Americas continent. And that could be on the cards. And Riley McKay on his day can be quick, of course. I would argue that perhaps the pace hasn't been ultimately there. He's been very clear that in preparation for Mexico tonight, that he might be up against it. He said that he feels slow. Do you believe that, Lindsay?
Well, yeah, it's hard to gauge when it comes to Riley McKay, because he's either absolutely flying, but he still thinks he's slow, or he's absolutely nowhere compared to the likes of Gregory Prisball and Campbell Adams. So it's honestly a take your pick, which one do you think it's going to be. But considering that I've been informed that out of the people of Gregory Prisball and Oscar King, despite him not being here, and himself, that he did the most prep of the 3, I would be inclined to believe that he might be a little bit off on that mark.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether he is going to be off the mark at this stage. Of course, 14 drivers line up here today for this 3rd final race. Of course, we have 3 rounds to bring you until the end of the season. As now we watch Riley McKay make his way down the long run, down through towards turn 1. This circuit length, 4.304 kilometres. First Grand Prix back in 1963. Of course, usually we go around on a 71 lap race, but obviously we're not going to go quite that far here this time. More of a 50% outlook as we now watch as Riley McKay storms down through towards the Trans-Era and in towards the next chicane section. The RB now looking to flick the rear out as now McKay makes his way through the lefts and rights, already plumbing together a decent first sector that already finds himself already a 0.2 of a second improvement on everybody else. So I would probably say that that's approximately a 27 6, perhaps a 27.7 inside that first sector as now McKay makes his way through the S's and then down through towards the heavy braking zone before entering Sector 3 proper, where they'll also meet the stadium section as well. Some impressive times coming through from elsewhere as well. T-Mac looking really good in the first sector. We've also seen solid first sectors from Toaster and Jack Humphreys as well. But McKay will be the first that we will see cross the line here right now. We'll cross the stripe. 1:13.926 to lay down the benchmark here in qualifying.
Yep, and that is a great lap, and Gregory Prisball in P2, a tenth of a second away as Campbell Adams now rises to the top with a 13.921, so absolutely flying as always for Campbell Adams as everybody getting their opening runs in, but that is the opening statement there between the top three in the championship. It's Campbell Adams with provisional pole, Riley McKay alongside that, and then Gregory Prisball a little bit shy back of the two of them. The top two, though, separated by 0.005 of a second.
Yeah, very minute gaps between the top two. 5,000s obviously going between the Racing Bull of Riley McKay and Campbell Adams at the top of the tree, and then there's a longer gap then that pushes out to P3's Gregory Prisball, and that is just over a tenth and a half, creeping out to a tenth and 3/4 as well. But Jack Humphreys also returning the serve, back again in fourth. Right now, we do have others now bidding to push out their first laps as well, though Yusuf Said unable to do one this time. I think he is currently energy saving right now. We did see the rear light flashing as he made his way through the chicane section. Has quickly gone off though, so we'll wait and see as to where the time is going to sit. We're also seeing Marcus Costa out on track at the same time in the Mercedes. He has posted a 28.1 inside the first sector. That is quite a ways off the pace in comparison to Yusuf Said right now, who I must say has been really impressive, certainly based on what we have seen back at Kota. Now looking to try and dance his way close to the top, looking to at least enlist a benchmark before we get to the nitty-gritty later on in the session, as now we watch as Said now makes his way down through towards the braking zone. 27.3 inside the middle sector, and we'll see how that compares. He's already faster than Marcus Costa inside P8 right now. Of course, Costa crossing the line, going 8th fastest. Here comes Yusuf Said, who now rounds the final corner. Will take the line now and will go 3rd fastest again. Another impressive display, at least in the initial, from Yusuf Said.
Yeah, that is a really good opening statement there and an opening lap from Yusuf, and he'll be looking to carry that momentum. He's really hit his stride as of late, has Yusuf, and I think that had he found his stride earlier on in this season, he could be in a much better position in the championship up there with the likes of Campbell Adams, because at the moment he's been absolutely on fire, so it's been really impressive to see.
Yeah, it has been superb to watch. Websy now on screen and at the bottom of the timing tower right now, but that is just merely because he is yet to set a valid lap time in place. A 27.8 though inside the first sector is faster than Oxchillo's last first sector time that he registered when he attempted to land a first lap onto the board. Ryan Bell also not with a lap time against his name. He's currently sat in the pits. Marcus Costa, who is looking to bring his lap to a close after registering a 1:15.503. He's now in the pits as it stands, as we now watch Websy coming through the S section and heading down in towards every braking zone before entering the stadium section, this time at turn 12. Now in towards turn 13, where the crowd can watch in the, well, around the Autodrome, which of course has championed the support of Sergio Perez in the past. He'll be making his return to Formula One now with Cadillac, as we now watch as Websy makes his way across the line and goes inside the top 10, just enough to jump ahead of Sebastian King, who gets relegated down to 11th.
Yeah, and Seb will be looking to make up a bit of time in that one, as Oxchillo currently on a lap and heading in towards the 3rd sector. So as he heads now and delves into the stadium, he is looking to get a first valid lap time on the board. So where can he place himself in relation to other drivers who have set lap times? Will it be inside the top 8 here for Oxchillo as he rounds through turn 16, now turn 17, up towards the line and across the line to go 7th place there for Oxchillo with a 1:14.976. That is not too bad at all for an opening run.
No, not bad at all from Oxchillo, who's in the top 10 come the close of Texas as well. Now Thunder's in a 1:14.976. And enough as well to just jump ahead of T-Mac as well, who's also making his way out onto another out lap now. Riley McKay, who we just mentioned, now also featuring yet another lap time. He has gone purple inside that first sector as well. 42 thousandths improvement on his previous best. And it's enough to go faster than Campbell Adams' first sector time as well by extension. Personal best coming in from Gregory Prisball as well in the first sector. And Gregory Prisball has gone purple inside the middle. Riley McKay has lost time in the middle. And now it's purple in the first sector for Ryan Bell, who, dare I say, is yet to register a time at all. Here comes Riley McKay up towards the line now. Will he improve? Not quite by enough, though. He remains second fastest, but all eyes on Prisball now, who will surely look to improve. But no, he lost time inside the final sector. But yet a twist in the tail could yet be found, because Ryan Bell, who sits at the bottom with no time against his name just yet, is making his way around the Autodrome, this time through the stadium section. The Aston Martin with a purple first sector. Not a terrible middle sector either. Looking to try and thunder in an improved lap time in a bid to join the others up at the top. Can he do that? Not quite. Fifth fastest.
Yeah, but that is still a very impressive showing there for Ryan Bell as Campbell Adams improves once again, and the first driver into the 0.8. So Campbell Adams now on a 13.823 as Gregory Prisball on his lap did take a jump up into the 13.9s, but not ahead of Riley nor Campbell Adams. And yeah, Riley unable to improve. Gregory Prisball taking an improvement by about a tenth of a second, but Campbell Adams just still proving he has the superior pace. He is absolutely the driver on form. Had he not had the unfortunate incident where he got damage in Coda, you best believe he would have been right there in the mix. I think he's in the form of his life at this current moment.
Yeah, I think he is. Marcus Costa also looking really strong at the moment, looking for some big improvements. We've got yellow flags waved in that final sector, and for good reason, because we just saw a car kicking up the marker boards on the left-hand side as we watched Marcus Costa coming through the soiree now. As he makes his way through the stadium section, you can see the crowds all gathered watching the Mercedes make its way through the final corners. The tail flicking out though on the Silver Arrows as now it makes its way up towards the line. Surely will jump inside the top 10, and just about he will indeed. Ninth fastest for Marcus Costa, and he'll need to try and thunder in a decent lap at the very close, because we are coming in to the final 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, and this is a critical point now. This is where the nerves can start to settle in when you're in the cockpit. This is now a point in time where you need to try and settle your nerves and gear up mentally for your next run and just get yourself prepared and ready to go. As Sebastian King currently still on a lap. He's a 10th up on his previous best time. That'd shoot him up past Websy, and he's now making his way in towards turn 16. So he gets the car flicked in into the apex, and now rounding the final corner. Where is Sebastian King going to go? He's going to go to 11th. He does a 15.295 to jump Flubber and Websy, respectively, in this qualifying session. 7 minutes to go. Riley McKay, Gregory Prisball, and Yusuf Said back out on the track. Campbell Adams still in the pit lane, but I don't think there is much hurt to him going out just a little bit later. He's on the way out of the garage now.
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously he's just looking to try and get as optimal track as possible. It is ramping up at the moment, folks. 26 degrees in the air. We're talking 39 degrees on track right now. So where you would usually consider 30 degrees to be the optimal, we have gone higher than that by 9 degrees as we now watch Joey Snarf come across the line. 1:15.828 is all he can muster so far, and that will be his best lap recorded, but not enough to jump any higher or even jump higher than Websy, who sits in 13th fastest for now. Sebastian King up into 11th, though, after managing to garner some improvements based on that previous lap we did witness. We've got Yusuf Said now making his way through the soiree of right-handers, and then eventually he will make his way through the S section before then capitalising through the stadium section also by extension too. We got 6 minutes to go here in qualifying. We're coming into a very fragile stage now, as you so rightly say, Lindsay. It's all to play for. Campbell Adams, though, is your P1 sitter. Provisional pole sitter, albeit for now, as we watch as Yusuf Said comes through the stadium this time. There is the hairpin bend as he now pivots the car through those final corners. And then we'll eventually find the final bend, indeed, at turn 16 and then later 17, before then hooking up the run down the straight. Here comes Said now, looking to jump inside the top 3. Does improve. He now posts a time, joining the 1:13 club, which at the moment is stacked with race winners, including Campbell Adams, Riley McKay, and Gregory Prisball, your current top 3, who are currently on laps right now.
Yeah, and Campbell's just begun his lap. Riley, 8 thousandths up through the first sector, and Gregory Prisball was 200ths down. So potentially the struggles continuing here for Gregory Prisball as Riley McKay continues to dive deeper into this lap, and towards the end of the lap, he's a 10th up through the middle sector. He's absolutely flying out there as he heads now into the hairpin bend of turn 13, and now just wrestle it over the right-hand side curb, open up the penultimate corner, and now into the final corner. Is it going to be provisional pole for Riley McKay as he crosses the line? Yes, it is. It's a 1 minute 13.7 dead. Gregory Prisball does improve by 2/10, but it was an invalid lap time, so he won't rocket ship up into P2, and Campbell Adams is also invalidated while up by more than 1/10 of a second.
That is a brilliant lap there from Riley McKay to follow suit after the victory last time out to then so suddenly stun Campbell Adams with a P1 time to the 1,000th, the 1:13.7. And that is a flat 7 as well. A brilliant lap indeed posted by him. And that is 11 thousandths improvement based on what we saw last time out. Brilliant stuff here from Riley McKay as he now lifts himself to the top. And Ryan Bell getting it all wrong. Coming through the final corner, exerting far too much right at the close of the lap. And he comes into the pits.
Yep, not ideal there for Ryan Bell. He already had a snap through the exit of turn 15, and then he just couldn't get it back together heading into the final braking zone. So just not quite working out for him as he still remains in 6th. But final runs are imminent, George, and it's looking like it's all to play for. But Riley McKay has the upper hand. Campbell Adams, though, is like a shark smelling blood in the water because he was up, and it was by more than enough to take provisional pole and go into the 0.6s. So if he can just put it together, that's definitely danger in the water here for Riley McKay.
Yeah, Riley McKay, the real McCoy here at Mexico, on top with a 1:13.700, bidding to put himself on top ahead of our third last race here in the Motorsport Australia OFI Cup, and he is doing all the right things so far. With 3 minutes to go, he stands tall on top of the classification tower with a 1:13.7, and that is just over 1/10, nearly 1/10 and a quarter quicker than Campbell Adams, who is, of course, a 2-time race winner back at Silverstone and Spa-Francorchamps. Gregory Prisball, our winner of our first 4 races of the season, currently sat in 3rd with a 1:13.931. And what's impressive about Gregory Prisball, of course, despite him being 3rd right now, he hasn't finished outside of the top 2 throughout the course of this season here, Lindsay.
He seems to have an extra gear come race time. I think that maybe qualifying isn't his primary focus. He's taken some impressive qualifying results, but he always seems to be a little bit down compared to Campbell. But once the lights go out, once there's a bit of fuel in the car and tyre wear starts to get involved, Gregory Prisball just seems to be a bit more switched on. He seems to have a little bit more pace and consistency over the course of the 50% race. And I think that that is the difference between the P1 and P3 drivers in the championship. When it comes to Riley McKay, he's a bit of a loose cannon. He's either really fast in the race or not really up to scratch. So you never know when it comes to him. But Campbell, very quick in qualifying normally. Gregory Prisball, a little bit quicker in the race is the theme I've noticed.
Yeah, obviously, no, it's all to play for at this very late stage in qualifying. 1:40 to take us to the checkered flag. Here in qualifying, it's Riley McKay on top. Do let us know in the live chat as to who you're predicting to take top spot. Obviously, we could yet see the best times come in late on here. We are, like I said, inside the final couple of minutes, so do expect these to be the last laps that we will see here registered in our qualifying session. There is your current pole sitter. We want to hear from you. Get involved. I can tell you that we have hit 726 followers here on the OFI Twitch channel. So do please lend your support by hitting that follow button. Also check out the Oceania F1 Invitational as well on social media. And you can also join the Discord as well. Stay up to date with the drivers as they make their way through their journey. And of course, this all powered by Motorsport Australia. And we do appreciate their support also as we now are set to go racing around Mexico City. There is McKay coming through the final 2 corners now as we venture through turn 16 and 17 to bring, I'm sure, a fierce end to qualifying here at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. It's Riley McKay. A 1:13.7 for now keeps him on top. Can he take it to the bitter end?
Yeah, well, that is the question here, George, as Riley embarks on his journey through the 3 sectors here in Mexico, and it looked very neat and tidy through the first 3 corners as he now makes his way up in towards the second chicane. So can he get it right? Can he get it hooked in? Yes, he can, as it's a 200th improvement, but he misses the apex there through the first part of the chicane, so that'll be a little bit compromising there for Riley McKay as he heads through the double apex right-hander and now in towards the S section. This is going to be a critical part of the lap here for Riley McKay as he dives through. It's absolutely on the limit, nothing between himself and pole at the moment. He's absolutely flying out there as Gregory Prisball, meanwhile, 900ths up as he heads through the final sector. So can Gregory Prisball take a stab towards Riley McKay as he now rounds the final corner as he heads up towards the line in the Red Bull. It's a 13.655. So what does Riley McKay have in response? Is it going to be provisional pole? No, it's going to be Riley McKay in second place, but here comes Campbell Adams as he rounds the final corner with Gregory Prisball to beat. He does rise to the occasion, and Campbell Adams takes pole with a 1 minute 13.597.
Stunning lap from Campbell Adams late in the day. He has done it before, and he's done it once more here in Mexico City. Ryan Bell will be next across the line, looking to improve from 6th fastest. Can he do that? No! Remains down just ahead of his teammate T-Mac, who sits in 7th place. That is pretty much all she wrote. Joey Snaff making his way into the pits. His day is done. But the day is won in terms of qualifying for Campbell Adams, fastest here at Mexico City and ahead of Gregory Prisball and Riley McKay. Stunning display from the 2-time race winner back at Silverstone and Spa. Pole here at Mexico with a 1:13.597.
That was an absolutely unbelievable lap from Campbell Adams. No idea where he has pulled that from. Gregory Prisball looked almost confirmed onto pole position after taking over from Riley McKay on the top of the timing tower. And then Campbell Adams, he just absolutely put in a lap of dreams and managed to go into the 0.5s. That was an incredible lap from Campbell Adams to take pole, and I'm sure he will be more than delighted with that lap.
Yeah, no question. Here are your results from short qualifying. It's Campbell Adams, your pole sitter ahead of the Mexican race coming up shortly. It's Gregory Prisball in second, joined by Riley McKay in third as well. Yusuf Said joining McKay on the second row of the grid, with Jack Humphreys on the third row lined up with Ryan Bell. Fourth row for T-Mac and Joshua Lee. And then further back, Flubber and Marcus Costa on row 5. We have Oxchillo in 11th place ahead of Sebastian King, Websey in P13 and Joey Snaff in 14th place as well. So, a very tantalising race we are going to be bringing you soon enough, folks. It's Campbell Adams, though, the man to watch, obviously, based on what we've seen so far in qualifying. What a way to end a session, just what we were hoping for, really, Lindsay, at this stage now. And obviously it paints a really interesting picture with the title on the line here tonight. Gregory Prisball will stand on the front row of the grid, which puts him in a great position, obviously, in a bid to win in this championship. At the end of the day, if he wins, he gets it all. He's stacking his chips to the center of the table, but likely the other drivers are going to have to as well if they have any hopes of keeping this championship alive.
Yeah, Riley and Campbell Adams definitely have a challenge ahead of them, because even if Greg finishes in P2 where he's starting, it is a decent opportunity for him to take the championship. If Greg finishes even third and Riley's fifth or worse, the championship is still over. There's so many different variables, and for Campbell to still stay inside this championship fight, he has to win the race, and Gregory Prisball has to have an absolute stinker and finish outside the top 4. So the odds are against him for Campbell Adams, and the odds are also against Riley McKay. But even then, after what we've seen in qualifying, there's clearly a hunger to stay in this, George.
Yeah, no, there absolutely is. Obviously, we'll be awaiting the lobby to really start. Obviously, we have a soft lobby reset after every qualifying session, folks. So obviously, we will be getting down to the real lobby very, very soon. But lots of excitement, obviously, ahead of this one. Again, no, we've got to say credit where credit's due to certainly the other competitors that have taken part so far. We've witnessed some fantastic battles out on track. Really been impressed. I know I keep hammering this point home, but it is no less true. Yusuf Said lately has been a brilliant contender, and I think largely from where we saw him seasons gone by, obviously would generally feature inside the top 10, not necessarily raise the stakes at all by any means, but I think there's been a grand sense of improvement on Yusuf Said's part as we've made our way through the OFI Cup.
Yeah, he has been improving quite a significant amount throughout the series. His results just getting better and better, and whatever the factor was that has led to his improvement, it's worked in a big way, and potentially it is just a bit more prep from Yusuf on his end that could have led to that. But there's so many different factors that could have led to his improvement. But he has been performing absolutely stellarly through this last part of the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Well, we'll very soon be getting the drivers in the session, folks, and we'll be back underway to bring you some fantastic racing. In the meantime, we can, of course, just remind you of tonight's grid as we're currently seeing it ahead of round 8 here at Mexico. Jack Humphreys flying solo here this evening in the McLaren. Oscar King not here this evening, but Sebastian King, his brother, is at Ferrari. We've got Gregory Prisball, Matt Pleavy at Red Bull, Marcus Costa and Flubber at Mercedes, Ryan Bell, Thomas McInnes at Aston Martin, Campbell Adams, Websey at Alpine, Oxchillo, Joey Snarf, Riley McKay, Apollo Pepsi, Potato 101, Yusuf Said and Joshua Lee. So those are the grid numbers as we are currently seeing it elsewhere. Of course, just a reminder of the calendar and where we have been and where we are going for the remainder of the Motorsport Australia OFI Cup. Obviously, so far, 4 wins have gotten the way of Gregory Prisball, 2 wins, Campbell Adams, Riley McKay picking up his first last time out at Austin, Texas. We haven't had a situation so far here, Lindsay, where a driver has won a sequence of races or indeed won a race, lost it, and then come back to the top again. All wins have pretty much so far been sequential.
Yeah, and I think that's just the case of momentum. I think that in this championship, with the way it's just been running over the course of these rounds, I think that momentum has been absolutely crucial. And the second you hit your stride, you never really leave it. So I think that it has been the case of momentum carrying people from wins to wins. And yeah, winning does typically breed winning in the world of motorsport.
Certainly does. Drivers do like momentum. Obviously, we've got 3 rounds to bring you, including the one we are at here today. Mexico, of course, the race still yet to come, and that will mark our 8th round on the calendar. We still have 2 more left, though. The iconic Interlagos circuit, home of the Brazilian Grand Prix, on the 4th of December. And then we head to our grand final, which will be centered around Yas Marina circuit at Abu Dhabi, home, of course, of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and is the final centerpiece across every calendar where it comes to Formula One. And we will be bringing you live action for round 10 of that. Remember, all times Sydney, Melbourne time. So therefore, be sure to register your interest for those and mark your calendars as well. But plenty to look forward to. Just a reminder of our last race result as well from our trip to Texas. It was Riley McKay who managed to launch himself to the top of the shop with certainly a result that would mean his first win of this season's affair. We have Gregory Prisball in second once more, who has not featured outside of the top 2 in every race so far. He has been either first or second. It's been largely second, though, since the first 4 rounds of the season. It has been a stunning display from Gregory Prisball so far, and he could yet leave today as champion. Oscar King in 3rd place. Of course, he will not be featuring here tonight, but it is very familiar faces lined up inside the top 3 so far. We've got Jack Humphreys down in 4th, Yusuf Said in 5th, come the close of Texas, then Oxchillo in that 6th place just behind Said, then Thomas McInnes ahead of Marcus Costa, Matt Pleavy, Sebastian King, who marked his first points appearance at the end of the Texas race. In terms of the standings, this is how it looks. Just a quick reminder for all of you tuning in here that Gregory Prisball is your championship leader and could come away with the championship. 49 points ahead at the moment of Riley McKay, and it's Red Bull currently leading RB in terms of the championship. Riley McKay moving into second after his brilliant win last time out at Texas sees him pop ahead of Campbell Adams now into second place. Adams now down in 3rd despite winning 2 races so far this campaign, just losing some key points, which has meant that he has forfeited that second place spot to Riley McKay. Oscar King not featuring here tonight. His championship run, no question, is over. Down in 4th, though, with the Ferrari on 87 points, 2 behind Campbell Adams right now. Jack Humphreys in 5th. We have Yusuf Said in 6th. Oxchillo 7th. Ryan Bell down in 8th place with Marcus Costa in 9th. Trent Newton down in 10th place as well also. But incredible stats there, as you can see on Gregory Prisball's part. 1s and 2s across the board. It's been second places ever since Silverstone, Belgium, and of course USA following as well. We look forward to seeing where he's going to be, of course, when we next go racing very, very shortly. But in the meantime, before we get stuck in, a quick reminder, a hot lap from two-time F1 Sim Racing World Champion Brendan Lee.
How to master Mexico on F1 2025. Out of the final corner, start using the overtake button once you engage 6th gear and burn the battery all the way down until 50% here on the pit straight. Braking at the 100-meter board down into 4th gear, prioritize the exit of the corner to open up the following left and following right with the overtake button and DRS enabled on the exit. Holding down the overtake button all the way until you reach your braking point of the 100-meter board for the following left-hander. Clunk over the inside curbing to open up the track and keep it in 3rd gear through this section to minimize rear sliding. Do a wheel flick through here to minimize any oversteer the car might have, and into the high-speed sequence of corners. Cut as much of the grass on the inside as possible. Tap the overtake button and now hold down the overtake button as you go flat through the right and through the left. DLS enabled, ending sector 2 all the way down until your braking point is the overtake button enabled into the final sector. Really critical to not overslide the rear axle here. Massive wheel flick into the hairpin, clunk over the inside curbing, final apex of the lap, clunk over the inside curbing here, maximize your traction potential, and this is a lap here in Mexico City.
Eloquence indeed. Big thank you to Brendan Lee for that. We are now back live here ahead of the Mexican race in the Motorsport Australia OFI Cup. Lindsay, after witnessing a fantastic lap from Brendan Lee, obviously many of these drivers attest to want to be becoming the next F1 sim racing star. And we're already seeing now plenty of Aussie drivers now making their way through as potential drivers of the series in the future. And no question there's going to be eyes on Gregory Prisball going forward. But also by extension, we're seeing some creeping into the engineering spots as well. By all intents and purposes, Oscar King being one of those guys.
Yeah, and I think it's been a really big stepping stone in terms of people developing their driving skills and then moving up into bigger and better things. And I think that Oscar King is the prime example of that, using his experience throughout the years of running in the OFI and then using that to propel himself now to where he sits in that Ferrari esports position. And then Gregory Prisball, of course, home to Veloce as well as Riley McKay. That is no small step either, as they knock on the doors of trying to get dev seats as we go through the seasons, through the game cycles. They are just improving, and I think that we're seeing so many more follow. Campbell Adams and Yusuf Syed as well. Drivers have been really excelling. I think there's so much want and there's so much hunger out there to try and be the best inside this region now, part due to OFI, and I think that it has been a very big catalyst as to why we're seeing what we're seeing in the region. Yeah,
making a huge difference. Obviously, the Aussie drivers bidding to prove their mettle in a bid to take part in future major F1 sim racing competitions, and indeed this now centred as Aussie racing's biggest F1 sim racing competition, as now it is supported by Motorsport Australia. Well, very shortly, folks, we are going to be going racing here at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, built back in 1959 by the father of Mexico's most famous racing brothers, Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez, and has now served as home of the Mexican Grand Prix for a grand deal of time now. Of course, the first Grand Prix back in 1963, as we're now set to go racing once again in the OFI. All lights now lit, they go out, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. Campbell Adams get a good start, so did Gregory Prisball. It's wheel to wheel, straight away on the run down through towards turn 1, medium tyres being embraced by both drivers. Here comes Riley McKay making it 3 wide on the run down through towards the first corner, but championship leader Gregory Prisball leads the way as they come through turns 1, 2, and later turns 3 as well. The Transera comes next, the Red Bull leads. Here comes Campbell Adams again, can he return the serve? Not quite, as we see Yusuf Syed coming under pressure. Here comes Riley McKay around the outside now. RB meeting Williams now, but not able to jump past Yusuf Syed just yet. Both cars getting squirrely over the curbs. Syed up into 3rd as T-Mac moves up to 7th, but it's Gregory Prisball, championship leader. He leads here at Mexico City.
Yep, and that was the start he needed, and now he's out the front and given himself the opportunity to try and control the way this race ends up. So this is exactly where he needs to be with 36 laps remaining. It's a hard task. He's got to try and hold on to this, but this is a great stepping stone into what could be for this race. If he wins the race, it's championship over. So this is the position he wants to stay. But with the long straight here at Mexico, it's not quite so simple as taking the lead and running away with it or keeping a car in the dirty air. Campbell Adams is right there. He's not going to go down without a fight, but that is the first part done. But Riley McKay, with work to do, however, currently sitting in 4th position.
Well, I tell you what, this may seem rather ominous. I mean, it was 4% chance of rain in qualifying. I can tell you that my percentage chart is actually showing 14%. So that is a slight increase. I say slight increase, 10% increase in comparison to where we were in qualifying. So I must say the clouds are looking rather dark as well. So we could yet see perhaps a change in the weather. It's looking rather cloudy up there. We'll wait and see. Obviously, I'm not going to suggest anything in the meantime, but we are watching at the moment. Gregory Prisball lead this Mexican race. Campbell Adams in second, just in front of Yusuf Said. Riley McKay, who was largely put in his place by Said right at the start of the race. Said just had a much better start, as now Said just cuts the chicane slightly and running over those curbs, but getting closer to the back of Campbell Adams.
Yeah, and he's just trying to work his way towards, but a big mistake there through the S's that didn't seem to hurt him too much. As I'll tell you what, on my end of the weather radar, my weatherman, Mr. Slammer, has told me there won't be any rain on the way. So I think that our radars might be reading differently here, George. So we'll never know which one is correct until we see it.
It was only 14% by side, so obviously it's not a lot. But at the same time, it was rather ominous seeing the grey clouds scattered across the skies here at Mexico. We know what the behaviour of this, the weather system can be on F1 25. We know that dynamic weather can sometimes mean we see rain out of nowhere, largely. I mean, obviously we saw it back at Texas, did we not? And it caused quite the stir in the closing stages, and Riley McKay obviously taking full opportunity and managing to master his race victory back at Austin last time out. But now he faces a different prospect. Yusuf Said currently directly in front of him. Every car embracing the medium tyre, as now Flubber looks to move into 10th place, runs a little bit wide of the apex, so Oxchillo has a chance of regaining the place back, and the Haas does. Manages to defend well against Flubber, who's now back in 11th.
Yeah, some good racing here further down, but Oxchillo has lost that 1 second DRS range to the cars in front, so he's going to have to push here through the S's to get back in. You don't want the train to split this early. It puts him in a heavily compromised position heading deeper into this race. All the while, Campbell Adams only 3.5 tenths underneath the rear wing of Gregory Prisball as they head towards the end of the lap through the stadium section and heading towards the very long straight. So Campbell Adams could be in a prime position here to swap around with Gregory Prisball to take the lead, but he has dropped back a bit through the final 3 corners.
Yeah, well, another lap starts now, lap 4 of 36, and it's Gregory Prisball who leads the way. DRS open here for Campbell Adams. Will he plumb for the move here and now? Indeed, it looks like that's going to be the case. So the man who managed to register the fastest lap time in qualifying returns to the top once more, this time on lap 4, and now ahead of Gregory Prisball, who drops to second just in front of Yusuf Said.
Yeah, that was the move he wanted to make, and I think we're going to see a lot of swapping between those top 2. Mexico is very much a track where you like to swap around, but it is the timing of all of that swapping that becomes imperative then as you head deeper in. When do you want to lead? When do you not want to lead, especially when it comes to the end of the race and also the pit stop phase? That is the big question you need to be asking, and you need to time it to perfection to make it all work. But Campbell Adams running away a slight bit, 6 tenths now over Gregory Prisball since making that overtake, but I doubt he's going to get all the way away with it, with DRS now in play through this mini straight and towards the end of the lap. So definitely it's just going to settle into rhythm. Meanwhile, Jack Humphreys very close to the back of Riley McKay, so it might not be over between that battle as well. Riley could still go further down the order. I say that as Jack Humphreys has a massive snap of oversteer and finds himself in a little bit of trouble there through the final sector. Ryan Bell also waiting in the wings a little bit, seeing what he can do, but a lot of racing going on up and down and the gaps remaining small.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Humphreys, prior to Ryan Bell coming along and taking the fastest lap of the race, Humphreys was the one actually holding the fastest lap up to that very point. So it's been really, I must say, up in the heat of the action and in the thick of it as well, trying to close up on the back of Riley McKay in a bid to jumping up inside the top 4. Will need to overtake Riley McKay to make that happen, though. Currently it's 5 tenths though between them, still a minute gap, and they're starting to pull away ever so slightly from Marcus Costa. Ryan Bell, of course, sat down in 6th, who has remained with Jack Humphreys. It's almost like the stars of OFI have converged all of a sudden. I want to call it the Avengers have assembled here at OFI. Of course, Ryan Bell, a former race winner. We've also got Jack Humphries, a former race winner and champion, as now Riley McKay makes a crucial mistake, and that could yet throw an opportunity Jack Humphries' way, as we now ride on board here this time with Humphries, an OFI legend of sorts, making his way down through towards the heavy braking zone before entering Sector 3 proper. Riley McKay can't afford to make too many of those mistakes.
No, that is a very costly error there, had it not gone well for Riley. If Jack had been able to really attack that mistake, it could have been a huge problem, as Marcus Costa dropping down the field like a stone at the moment. In fact, he's glitching backwards, so maybe he had a bit of a problem with his game, had to tab out. He's now dropped all the way to the bottom besides Joey Snuff, and he's now on the counter-attack, so really not ideal there for Marcus Costa, as Gregory Prisball hunting a championship that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, George, would put him on par with Jack Humphries' championship count.
It will, and obviously Gregory Prisball has largely put himself in a position now where he could become that champion here. Yusuf Saido could be looking to cause a stir in that fact, and there is a little bit of contact front right on the Williams meeting the rear left of the Red Bull. Gregory Prisball doing enough though to hang on, but we saw this from Yusuf Saido. If you remember last time at Texas, he was causing quite the stir inside the top echelons, and remember, there is no discrepancy in terms of strategy either. Everyone embracing the medium tyres, which means it's a sprint from start to finish here. The only differential separating these drivers is if they decide to pit early and who decides to pit late. No discrepancy in terms of the tyres they are using.
Yeah, and that's in stark contrast to the beginning of COTA, where we saw Campbell Adams on the hard compound tyre, as well as Riley McKay also was out on the hards, and Gregory Prisball was the one taking to the mediums. It is all very much fair and square here in this race as we enter lap number 7 of 36, and Gregory Prisball potentially looking to try and retake the lead. A little bit far back though, as Marcus Costa speeds into the pit lane, as Riley McKay also right on the back of Yusuf, looking to try and make a move, but Jack Humphries is right there knocking on the door of the top 4, seeing what he can muster up here in this race as he makes his way towards the second chicane. Probably not within diving distance, but he is well and truly there to upset the order if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, Jack Humphries, of course, so experienced, has been in this position many times before. Marcus Costa retires from the session, no surprises after the issues that he has faced, dropping down through the order, now deciding to bring an end to his race after speeding in the pit lane as well, receiving a 10-second time penalty. He'll take no further part here at Mexico. So we're now down to 13. Campbell Adams leads the way now, still with a half a second gap to Gregory Prisball down in second. All the energy lights flashing on the back of the cars, as you can see, and blinking on the back of the RB, and indeed by all those inside the top 3 as well, as they now funnel through the stadium section this time around. The Alpine leads, so Campbell Adams, bidden to become a 3-time OFI winner this season, become the first driver this season to lose, go from a win, then not having a win, and then taking a win back. He'll become the first driver to do that should he pull this off. Now some movements further back. Jack Humphries breaking out of the aero once more, this time potentially looking in on the inside of Riley McKay, unable to, though, to make the move happen. Coming through turn 1, he remains behind the RB, as now Joey Snarf moves up into 12th. That's because Websey has come into the pits.
Yep, so potentially some early signs of pit stops on the horizon, although it does look like Websey might potentially be fixing a damaged wing, but you never know. I think that pit stops will be getting, well, they're not particularly near yet, I don't think, but they'll be getting closer, and the tyres will already beginning to be a little bit worn with the medium tyres. Lap number 8, you've got to imagine the wear numbers will be continuing to rise for these drivers, so they will be feeling it. That's why we're not seeing fastest lap after fastest lap, because they're managing, their tyres are going off, and they've got to be considering their strategy soon enough. Well,
the brilliant thing about it is that we do have DRS for every single driver from Ps1 down to Ps9 so far. Sebastian King 2.5 seconds away from Oxchillo as it stands. Of course, the two King brothers lining up at Ferrari this season. Only Sebastian King here tonight, though. Oscar King not racing in this one, so his championship efforts have now come to a close, obviously, for this season of OFI. Powered by Motorsport Australia, as we now see the rear wing open for Gregory Prisball, charging down through towards turn 1, looking all over the back of Campbell Adams. We see another look here from Ryan Bell on the back of Jack Humphries, not close enough though to make a move. But your top 6 still remain as they are. T-Mac just dropping off ever so slightly. But I must say credit to T-Mac, Joshua Lee and Oxchillo staying within DRS of one another, and indeed within DRS of the front 5, especially when we consider the capabilities of the top 5. Appreciate obviously a lot of this is tyre management. They want to elongate the medium stint as much as they can in order to negate any efforts of anybody trying something different on this compound of tyre.
Yeah, and I think that could definitely, well, that is definitely the case, and I think that these drivers will know that, which is probably why they all started and are doing the strategy that they are doing. But lap 9 of 36, and everybody, it just seems like George is in a little bit of a limbo, a little bit of a rhythm at the moment as all. That's very wide for Riley McKay, just as I was saying, as everybody's entering a rhythm. Now he's invited himself to an attack from Jack Humphries, who tried the outside line at turn 13, couldn't quite pull it off, but Riley blinks again, makes another mistake, drops time, and now Jack Humphries is right here for the attack. He's looking to pounce and looking to move up into the top 4. Jack Humphries will be licking his lips at the opportunity given. Riley McKay nearly took himself out of the race.
Well, he can thank his lucky stars, because it looked largely that he totally missed the breaking point. Jack Humphries, I think, spied an opportunity. They were side by side all but briefly on the run down in towards the hairpin bend, coming in towards turn 13. Unfortunately for Humphries, nothing there that he could have capitalised on, though he is only 6/10 away from McKay for now. McKay recovering and is now only 3/10 away from Yusuf Said. He is caught up straight away with the top 3, was not once outside of DRS. He was very fortunate that did not end a lot worse than what it did. I mean, at the very least, it could have largely sent him outside of that 1 second gap and therefore forfeit DRS at a circuit where DRS really is absolutely necessary, isn't it, around this circuit here, Lindsay?
Yeah, when you're driving around Mexico, having DRS is like water for a human. You need it to survive in the race, and without it, you're really, really going to suffer, and your race will not end up going well. And Campbell Adams still leading the way. Riley McKay seems to have found the form back, and he's closing up to the back of Yusuf once again as Oxchillo picks up a track limits penalty, as that's into the pit lane now for Jack Humphries and Ryan Bell. So the first 2 to blink in this main train is Jack Humphries and Ryan Bell. This is now game on. That's a statement made. They're trying the undercut. Yeah,
and bear in mind, Websey has already made his stop, though I think largely he's going to be outside of the picture here. But nonetheless, an early call to jump onto those hard tyres here made by Jack Humphries, and he's not alone, because Ryan Bell doing exactly the same, and they are still manacled together as they leave the pit. So now the onus is on the top 4 to try and make moves while they can. They've broken away from T-Mac at this stage now. Joshua Lee looking to go wheel to wheel here with T-Mac as well over that 5th place. T-Mac could lose out. He will lose out. Joshua Lee leaps into 5th.
Yeah, and that is a good move and an important move there for Joshua Lee, as he'll continue to now try and move forward. 2.5 seconds up the road, though, to the fastest drivers in the region. No easy feat. He's going to try and pull it off, as T-Mac are looking to be on the counter-attack, though, and I'm sure we'll see them swap once more as we head further into this race. Now, will any of the other leaders blink? We've seen 2 drivers now pull into the pit lane. Will we see the theme continue here with Campbell Adams or Gregory Prisball or Riley McKay? No, they all stay out. They don't think it's time to box yet here on lap number 12. So maybe 1 or 2 more before we see them into the pits, as Joshua Lee and T-Mac, just as they swap positions, are now into the pit lane.
Well, that's either an indication that these tyres have got plenty more left in them here to rein in yet bigger lap times, or they feel that they will feel the benefits of better tyres for the final stint. So either is your answer. We will find out, though, very soon as to which side of the dice that will be. I mean, regardless, they will have better tyres when they move on to the hards for that second stint anyway, regardless. But bear in mind, it'll only be a couple of laps. Bear in mind, the hard tyre is also a decent race tyre, and they have been now for quite a considerable amount of time as far as the EA Sports F1 franchise goes.
Yeah, they have been. They're a very, very solid tyre, so they do the job very well. And I think that is, it's why they've been leaned on a lot, especially in years gone by, as, yeah, I think they're just such a powerful tyre, such an important tyre in the scope of the games, that they've basically been the necessary tyre to use. And I think that we see them get leaned on very, very frequently.
Yeah, we certainly do. Again, another lap brought into play by Campbell Adams, and obviously I'd imagine Gregory Prisball just watching every move the Alpine makes, and could play a decisive role in when he decides to box as well. But the DRS now open once again here for Prisball, who looks to close the door once more. It looks like Riley McKay has come into the pits though, so another change being met. Now this is where we'll find out whether Jack Humphrey's early pit will mean that he improves, and indeed he will. He'll move up the order. Sebastian King is in. It's the fastest lap here for Ryan Bell as well. Both Humphreys and Bell exchanging fastest laps. Now, how much time is Riley McKay going to lose as a result of this? Now, this is key. He might come out behind Websey. If you remember, yes, he is behind Websey. Websey boxed earlier than anybody, and now Joshua Lee around the outside, also on the hard tyres. He boxed earlier as well. This is a disaster for Riley McKay because he hasn't got much fresher tyres than Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell, and just due to the pit stop factor alone, that is 3.1 seconds between Websey and Bell, and by extension McKay 2.1 behind Websey. Has McKay made a wrong decision in elongating that pit stop phase by another lap in comparison to Humphreys? I would say he has.
Well, if that's a mistake for him, that could be a critical mistake here for Gregory Prisball, Campbell Adams and Youssef, because they are going to come out in a very similar position as, there we go, Gregory Prisball blinks before Campbell Adams. He's undercutting the race leader, so we know that he roughly where he's going to come out. The 1-lap undercut, 2-lap undercut, very powerful though here at Mexico, as we've been seeing. That gap from Riley McKay to Ryan Bell is very significant. So where does Gregory Prisball come out in the grand scheme of this race, and how will that affect his race against Campbell Adams in the meantime? So as he comes out of the pit lane, where is he going to emerge? Is it going to be behind the entire train or just in front of it? There goes Websey. Is he going to slot in ahead of Riley? Yes, he will. So he actually, despite the 1-lap undercut from Riley, he lost too much time squabbling with traffic, and Gregory Prisball slots in perfectly to the very front of this train with only Websey in front of him. Where does that put Campbell Adams?
Well, I must say this is a disaster for Riley McKay, but yes, by extension now it could be a disaster for Campbell Adams, who's just going to be hinging on the idea that he's going to have fresher tyres than anybody. Which isn't ideal. Websey now is going to become a thorn in the side because obviously he's a slower car, and now it means that Prisball is going to forfeit more time. He needs to get past this Alpine ASAP to hold any opportunity of landing a blow inside the top echelons of this classification. This could see the title swing us onwards into the final 2 rounds. Obviously with 3 rounds to go as it stands, it will become 2 rounds after this race is completed. Campbell Adams now in the pits, so here we go again. Jack Humphreys, I get the feeling, I smell an incredible strategical decision here by the McLaren, as then the Alpine makes a move onto the hard tyres. Here comes Humphreys now, and he will almost certainly take on the race lead here, and he's got clean air. This is a fabulous position for Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell to be in. 2 of the old guard of the OFI now lead this race, as now Gregory Prisball jumps inside. 3rd place now, he disposes of Websey. Riley McKay does the same. T-Mac in 6th, Joshua Lee, Campbell Adams all the way down in 8th. Needs to fight his way through other cars in order to rejoin the likes of Prisball and McKay, who sit 3 and 4.
That's a really precarious position to be in here for Campbell Adams. This is going to be really difficult now to not lose touch of Gregory Prisball and Riley McKay. All the while, they need to try and get a move on and close up to Ryan Bell and Jack Humphreys. That gap, 4.3 seconds. Will they be able to do that chase down? You'd surely think so, as they're already off and away with it at the moment. They've already closed 8/10 since emerging from the pit lane on those top 2. And Campbell Adams still at the back of this train, as Riley getting very close to breaking away here from Websey. In fact, he has broken away from the DRS. So Campbell Adams, by trying the major overcut, could have potentially put his race in a very, very compromised position here, George.
Well, I'm telling you now, the gaps alone could be enough to mitigate the use of the better tyres, because obviously whilst, of course, he will have the youngest tyres of our front runners, he will forfeit their efforts, their benefit, just due to the mere fact that there's quite a large gap now starting to show between the drivers further up. Here comes T-Mac now on the move, this time trying to take on Websey. This opens up the door once again for Campbell Adams to move up and around the inside of Websey. Can't quite do it. Campbell Adams once again just being left in the dust, really, coming out of turn 2, but now needs to try and find his way through now as they come through the Transera. And indeed now Campbell Adams looking to unlock the door, and his own Alpine teammate Yusuf Said also by extension getting caught up in this as well. So Campbell Adams moves up to 7th. Said joins him now into 8th place. And now Adams on the back of Joshua Lee, and he needs to get past ASAP because T-Mac now 2 seconds back from Riley McKay. They're peeling away Gregory Prisball and Riley McKay.
Yeah, they are absolutely gone and closing in at a rapid rate here to Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell. It's only a matter of time before they get to that lead train. From there, it might hold them up a bit because trying to overtake 2 cars and then not have them fight back is going to be a very difficult challenge. That could be Campbell Adams' door of opportunity back into this race when they do catch. But for the moment, his race is looking in a very drastic position. He is going to have to pull off some very brave overtakes to get himself back into this one as the gap still continues to build. The 2 in front of him are about to go to battle as well. Where does he stick his nose into this one as he heads down towards the first chicane? He's going to clear T-Mac now. It's 1 car between himself and the gap of free air that lays between Joshua Lee and Riley McKay, but then he needs to close into it. This is going to be a very difficult challenge for Campbell Adams, and I think that 1 lap extra has cost him dearly.
Yeah, Yusuf Said also pouncing on T-Mac as well, so he moves up to 7th place. But yes, Campbell Adams now in a situation where he needs to get past Joshua Lee ASAP, and unfortunately his task wasn't helped by the fact that Joshua Lee had DRS going down the Transera, so was able to defend against the approach from the Alpine. Oxchillo also moving up into 9th as well, ahead of Websey. So now the Alpine of Websey down into P10, but with a 13.8 gap to Flubber, who's down in 11th spot. So we'll almost certainly pick up the P10 points come the end of this race. But Jack Humphreys, I have to say, he might have pulled off a masterstroke here. Obviously still a lengthy portion of this race to go. We're not even at the halfway point just yet, but he's in a great position here at this stage. It's 2.7 seconds between Prisball and Ryan Bell, though I must say Gregory Prisball putting in a huge effort so far in closing the gap. And I can just tell you this, it was 8 to 9 tenths of a second faster, Gregory Prisball, in comparison to the top 2. So this race is not over yet as Campbell Adams now moves into 5th and finally disposes of Joshua Lee down to 6.
Yep, so now he has a very big challenge ahead of him. Campbell Adams 2.2 seconds to Riley McKay. So that is going to be a critical factor in this race as we're on the halfway lap of this Grand Prix. Lap 18 of 36. And now he has the work to do. He knows what he needs to do, but can he do it? He does have 1 lap fresher tyres and he's already closed 3 tenths. So Campbell looked out of it potentially for a moment there, behind all of the traffic, but he disposed of them quickly. Now he needs to keep his head down, close up, and I think that with the rate Gregory Prisball is closing on Ryan Bell and Jack Humphreys, it'll all smush back together then as well. This is now a great opportunity for there to be a 5-way fight for the race win.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 2 to 3 laps of fresher tyres here in the favour of Gregory Prisball in comparison to Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell right now. 2.4 seconds is the gap as it stands between Bell and Gregory Prisball. Your current championship leader, of course, currently sat in 3rd with Riley McKay still for company. Campbell Adams now with the fastest lap of the race. Certainly showing no signs of stopping with a 1:17.056. Now, by extension, that is 1.1 seconds quicker than Jack Humphreys at the top of the shot. But bear in mind, he does have DRS as Yusuf Said now powers past Joshua Lee and into 6th place. So there is now a gap that's developed of 1.5 seconds between Said and Adams. But Campbell Adams now started to dig deeper, and he's closing on the back of Riley McKay. Remember, that gap was 2.2 seconds earlier on, but he's grown it back as Sebastian King now jumps past Flubber for 11th. That has been a battle that has continued over the last couple of laps. We saw King run slightly wide coming through turn 1 earlier on. Well, now he's managed to return the serve against Flubber once again, and now the Ferrari sits just outside of the top 10, but 15.5 back from Websey. 6 tenths though between the top 2. Humphreys and Ryan Bell still lead, but again Prisball continues to bring the time gap in, and again it was 8 tenths of a second better in favour of Gregory Prisball in comparison to the top 2, so he is still closing like a train.
Yeah, Gregory Prisball proving that there's levels to this, and Jack Humphreys once upon a time would be the driver closing down at this very much point in time. That would be miles out in the front. So now Gregory Prisball just really stretching the legs, showing what he's made of here, as it's 1.6 seconds now to Ryan Bell and Gregory Presbell. He is absolutely flying along, pulling Riley McKay with him. Campbell Adams 1.6 seconds shy then of Riley McKay. This is all heating up here on lap 20.
Yeah, it is a fierce contest between them. Incredible lap times being fielded. 119.1, dare I say, from Jack Humphreys last time out. That is going to be a whole second difference in terms of lap pace in comparison of Gregory Presbell and Jack Humphreys this time. So he's only getting quicker now, Gregory Presbell. And now catching to the tail of Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell. But how are the tyres going to be come the end of this race? Because we've still got another 16 laps to go. And if they are persevering with the one-stop strategy, they're going to be feeling a little bit worse for wear come the checkered flag. Of course, it was Campbell Adams who boxed later than anybody. The good news for Campbell Adams is he's going to have fresher tyres and also be within DRS on Riley McKay if he carries on like this, because he's only 1.2 away from Riley McKay right now, and indeed 0.2 away from receiving DRS as it stands. As now on lap 20 of 36, we're set to begin lap 21. Jack Humphreys round in the final corner as Joey Snaff receives a 3-second time penalty. Ryan Bell just down 6.5 tenths now in comparison to Humphreys. So Gregory Presbell surely is going to try and flex his speed, flex his muscles on the run down through towards turn 1, chasing a potential P2 visit. Will not do it here and now, at least coming through towards turn 1, but he will ideally picture himself on the back of Jack Humphreys as he makes his way down the Transera. Will Ryan Bell have to respond just due to the fact that Presbell, your championship leader, is now chasing him down, and indeed they're going to go side by side on the run down through the Transera in towards the chicane section now at turns 3 and 4, but Ryan Bell closes the door immediately. In fact, he shuts the door, slams it in the face of Gregory Presbell, who will have to remain in third.
Yeah, Ryan Bell absolutely slammed the throttle on, and he is just defending with his life. He just punched the power, hoped the car stuck, and then checked it up at the apex just to stay in front. But it's only a matter of time before Ryan Bell falls behind Gregory Presbell. Even with a defense like that, with fresher tyres, with better pace, Gregory Presbell will climb to the top more than soon enough. Campbell Adams at the very back of this train is right on the back of Riley McKay, so this battle is going to continue, and now you would imagine Ryan Bell knows he needs to get the foot down and go ahead of Jack Humphrey, so I think we'll now see the top two potentially begin to squabble as they make their way down the long stretch towards turn 1 once again.
14 laps to go. And we're now in, I must say, and it's an incredible picture being painted here. We have got a gradient of compounds of tyres in terms of age anyway. Of course, Jack Humphreys, Ryan Bell on the oldest of the bunch inside this top 5 affair. Then further back we have Gregory Presbell. The youngest tyres of all, though, are being shown off by Campbell Adams. Of course, now on the tail of Riley McKay, and we'll be hoping to make use of the benefits of having fresher tyres against all those that currently feature in front of him right now. But there is your championship leader, Gregory Presbell, right on the heels of Ryan Bell. We'll have no qualms in getting the move done. And in the next 14 laps, we could yet see a barnstormer as they come through the S's, coming out of turn 11. And now DRS will once again be on show before they hit turn 12 and enter sector 3 proper. There you can see the rear wings opening up. Ryan Bell remaining on the tail of Jack Humphreys, who's put in a sterling performance today to make this strategy work for him. He leads the race right now here on lap 22, but that could be a largely different picture as we now exit out of the final 2 quarters here on lap 22, soon to begin lap 23, and it was a very uncomfortable run from Ryan Bell, who comes into the pits, and Jack Humphreys does as well. They're committing to the 2-stop here, Lindsay.
That is really, really interesting, George, and not something that I had on my bingo card. I did not expect to see a 2-stop as they go on to another set of the hard compound tyres. What looked to be an opportunity to try and fight inside the top 3 positions for these 2 drivers, Ryan Bell and Jack Humphreys, now turns to them being down the back on a fresh set of hards. Did they realise that they boxed too early and weren't going to make it, or was this the plan all along, George? That is the question that I now ask, because do they have the time to close back up to those leaders? It's such a big gap to try and overcome.
Well, 13 laps is what's left. I'm not sure how this is going to work, you know, but I mean, the one benefit they will have is that they do have fresher tyres. Now, Campbell Adams, I would say for now, he's the man to watch. He is in the pound seats here because he has got the fresher tyres out of anybody inside the top 3. Obviously, Gregory Presbell boxing a couple of laps earlier than he did, so there's every chance here for Campbell Adams to perhaps show off his pace and flair here towards the end of this Mexican race. But at the moment, it is your championship leader, who, if he takes this home now, if this is the result that we see as you're seeing it on your screen, folks, Prisbal will become champion at the close as the checkered flag is waved.
Yeah, this is now really heating up when it comes to the championship prospects, because Gregory Prisbal, as you said, George, will take home the championship if he does win. However, if Riley wins, he will keep it alive, because Gregory Prisbal won't get enough points or gain points over Riley, so he wouldn't confirm it at that rate. Campbell Adams needs somewhat of a miracle, because he needs Greg outside the top 4 to stay inside this one, even if he does win. So this is now becoming quite the interesting scenario, because Riley McKay needs to go back-to-back with the way it's looking at the moment to keep this one in the works, to keep the championship hopes alive.
Yeah, he'll be chasing that dream. Gregory Prisbal, who hasn't won since round 4, though has been second on every occasion since then, has not featured outside of the top 2 in any race in the OFI this season. And, of course, brought to you and powered by Motorsport Australia. We do appreciate Motorsport Australia as well for their committed support. And now you can just see Gregory Prisbal starting to march out a gap of nigh on 7/10 of a second. It's now gone out to 8/10 immediately coming out of the stadium section. Campbell Adams now becoming a thorn in the side of Riley McKay once more. We have seen these two duel it out right through the course of this season, and indeed on other seasons of OFI. And now McKay could be on the wrong end of this, because now as they charge down through towards the turn 1 section, and the first sector as well here on lap 25, 11 laps to go. Business is starting to pick up. The Trans Zero awaits. Yusuf Said down in 4th, 2.4 away from Campbell Adams. There's now a 3-second time penalty gets awarded to Flubber for yet another breach of limits as they now charge down once again through towards turn 3. It is still, though, Prisbal. Here comes now Adams. Down the inside now straight away, trying to catch Riley McKay by surprise. McKay, though, will have the better line, though, down the inside as they come through the sequential right-handers, and will have enough to prevent the move being made by Campbell Adams. But that's the first major warning shot fired from Adams here and now on that fresher hard tyre rubber. He's got the freshest tyres out of the top 3.
Yeah, and he's not here to mess around, but there is somebody closing up to the back of this top 3. Yusuf Said is 1.6 seconds away. He's closing up. He's looming in the background, looking to get involved and see what he can do to make his mark inside this Grand Prix. So Yusuf not down and out of this one yet either. I think this is going to turn into a 4-horse race very quickly, George.
It could well do. It could become more than just the mere 3 that we're watching on top right now. It's 1.5 seconds now between Said and Campbell Adams. Adams, though, after setting the bench, well, certainly laying down the hammer. Ryan Bell receiving a penalty, so that is definitely his day done. Jack Humphreys is closing like a train on the back of the others further up, including Oxchillo, T-Mac and Joshua Lee. So he could become part of that P5 battle very soon if he keeps this pace up. But elsewhere, we can't peel away from this top 3 encounter where Gregory Prisbal and now Campbell Adams again coming in towards the chicane, much like last time. Looks to the switchback once more, but the door slammed shut once more by Riley McKay, who planted the brakes, preventing the avenue of attack for Campbell Adams, and therefore McKay keeping his opponent down in 3rd.
Yep, and Campbell really starting to get impatient. He knows he needs to get a move on 10 laps to go, so he does have a bit more time than potentially his moves would be suggesting to use, but this is a great opportunity for Gregory Prisbal. He's 8.5 tenths out in the lead, and now this is the perfect time for Gregory to take advantage of this battling and try and break that 1 second. With the DRS zone upcoming, it is unlikely, but it's not impossible if Campbell still continues to work away at this. Go for some lunges that will lose them both time in the heat of battle. Gregory Prisbal could break away. Yeah,
well, Yusuf Said also creeping even closer. Remember, it was 1.5 seconds before. Well, it's 1.1 at least as they cross the stripe now. So Yusuf Said not done yet at all. As long as he can maximise in the corners, he could yet find himself right in the thick of the action now. Will Campbell Adams go for another move heading down the Trans Zero once again? He's done it twice already in the last 2 laps. Will he make it a 3rd time? Will he pull it off this time as they come down through towards the next braking zone? He will try again. Look to the inside. Can't quite get his car alongside the RB, and McKay doing enough to keep Adams at bay. But bear in mind, Adams, regardless, will still have a few laps fresher tyres underneath him, which could pay dividends towards the ending stages of this race. Jack Humphries really started to get closer now to the back of T-Mac. It's 7.7. Remember, that was 10 seconds, approximately a lap or two ago. So could Humphries cause a late stir? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he will get there. I don't think, because he has to make so many overtakes, I don't think that Humphries is going to cause a stir. I think that two-stop is very reminiscent of a Ferrari strategy, and I don't think it'll pay off for him when it comes down to the death of it. But this top 3 and now top 4 fight is on, because Yusuf is inside 1 second, and so he will open up the rear wing heading down this straight. So he's now well and truly into this fight as long as he continues to close, and this top 3 is definitely heating up here.
It definitely is. I can tell you that the last laps that Jack Humphries has been raising are 118.2s, so he is a second a lap faster than your race leader Gregory Prisball at the moment, a second faster than Riley McKay as well. I mean, there's a chance, as long as he can carry through this 1 second a lap faster pace against everybody else, he has a chance. But it's all about getting past those cars in front. That's the big problem. You know, he needs to be a second lap in clean air to make this happen. But when you throw other drivers into the mix, that 1 second a lap pace is hard enough to carry through. So he really needs to charge and ideally do more than 1 second a lap pace to make this happen. Websey moving up into 10th as well at the moment. Obviously, at the moment, we've got still Gregory Prisball leading the way ahead of Riley McKay right now. That gap has still remained at half a second. Campbell Adams another half a second. Matt Yusuf's side now joining the fight, 9/10 away from Campbell Adams as well by extension, but does have the 3-second time penalty, which obviously will disrupt proceedings on his part, and therefore you'd fathom that even if he was to break inside the top 3, it will drop him down into 4th regardless. Joshua Lee down in 5th. Oxchillo, T-Mac, of course, down in 7th. Again, Jack Humphries finding more time, 5.2 away from T-Mac right now. It does feel like it's too little, too late on part of Jack Humphries as we now watch them charge down through towards turn 1 again. Prisball still leading the way. Campbell Adams getting closer, though, to the back of McKay as they come down through towards turn 1. Now coming out of turn 2, Campbell Adams might yet have his prayers answered on the run down through towards turn 3. He's tried it here several times before. Looks late again to the inside and will go wheel to wheel here with Riley McKay. They dice it out over second place once more. Inside line for the RB. Campbell Adams this time committing to the wide outside, looking for the switchback through the double right-handers, but he is literally defying every switchback move that Campbell Adams makes here is Riley McKay, and that is keeping him in second place.
Yeah, Campbell is a big fan, clearly, of that late dive to the inside of turn 4, but it's not working for him. He can't get the move done. Riley is just wiser to it and manages to keep himself at the position that he is currently. He's holding on very well. Campbell getting so close, but not able to make the move as they head onto the straight here once again. Surely Campbell has to try and move at a different point around the lap. So let's see what he can manage here as he opens up the DRS down the straight. Is it going to be potentially a turn 1 overtaking opportunity here for Campbell Adams? It's not likely because Riley has the DRS to Gregory Prisball. So now he's going to have to try and set the exit up once again as they head through turn 2, now turn 3. We know Campbell's tried the late lunge several times. Now he's surely going to try it again. He's right underneath the rear wing of the RB of Riley McKay as they head into the braking zone. This time he decides not to go for it, but Campbell is running out of time and he shows the nose through turn 5. That was really risky. He gets his nose chopped off for good measure, but he's really starting to get desperate.
And if anything, now he's being left on a plate here for Yusuf's side further back, who I believe has better tyres. And obviously, despite having the 3-second time penalty, he's going to have no qualms about trying to make moves because obviously he's worrying about his own race right now. At the moment, Gregory Prisball in control of this one, 8/10 between the top 2. It's pretty much equal gaps between Ps 1, 2 and then Ps 2 to Ps 3. As now T-Mac receives yet another 3-second time penalty. Jack Humphries now 3.1 away from T-Mac, continues to lap stronger than anybody else at the moment. His last lap at 1:18.4, which was 0.8 of a second faster than Gregory Prisball at the top of the shop. Again, that's not enough time for Jack Humphries. He is well and truly out of this one. I think that strategy call probably wasn't the best decisive measure to make. Ideally needed a faster set of tyres if you're going to commit to a 3-stop. So not great. Probably should have extended that medium tyre run at the very beginning. That probably would have been the smartest route to take, or maybe start on the hard tyres right at the start would have been better. I think actually if one driver was to start on the hard tyres, that could have undone a lot of the medium runners because they could have just stayed with the train.
Yeah, and I think that would have been the big call, because they wouldn't have dropped all the way to the back, because that train was just so nicely put together that I think that it could have worked to start on the hards, actually, if you had been the odd one out. So this is going to be a story of what could have been if you had gone for that strategy, but everybody put themselves on the mediums, so you can't think that way. Campbell still has 5 more laps to try and make a mark, but he's struggling now to get within striking distance of Riley McKay, sitting there or thereabouts. But I think maybe he's just sitting back and recharging, thinking of a different plan of attack all the while. Gregory Prisball still controlling the lead, 8.5 tenths out in front, with not much stress from Riley behind. And this is a great opportunity for Gregory Prisball to seal this championship.
Yeah, it looks like it's largely going his way now. Riley McKay now 8 tenths back from Gregory Prisball as they make their way down towards turn 1. Looks like the Red Bull is going to capitalise here on what has been an astonishing season, returning to the top step for the first time since round 4. Could be on the cards now for Gregory Prisball. Riley McKay once again being close up upon by Campbell Adams, but not quite close enough in order to manufacture the move. Jack Humphries now inside of DRS on T-Mac, looking just to end the race in some style. Obviously it hasn't quite gone to plan. The strategy did not quite work. Still joined by Ryan Bell as well down in P9, but remember, Bell does have a penalty.
Yeah, and that is really unfortunate, and getting penalties in this race definitely playing some effect. Yusuf as well, another driver carrying a penalty that is detrimental to his race. But luckily for Ryan, except for Jack Humphries, everybody else around him also has a penalty. So as he continues to work his way through this pack, it'll still probably play to his benefit. He'll still finish up in likely the same position he might have if he'd stayed out. But yeah, I still think that 2-stop strategy really interesting, and it's been so harmful to their races. They're stuck in this train now. They dug their own graves in that regard. 4 laps to go, and they're just absolutely nowhere. Yeah,
no, obviously the strategy just simply did not work. Jumping onto another set of hard tyres. Of course, now Jack Humphries will at the very least get some overtakes done. He's got a sequence of cars that are on much older tyres here, and he can now persevere. First of all, taking on T-Mac over P7. It's wheel to wheel between these two now. On the run down through towards turn 1, he'll make his way past T-Mac now, and at the same time perhaps even capitalise on Joshua Lee. Not quite close enough to make that happen. Campbell Adams though at the inside of Riley McKay as they come out of the Transera, and Campbell Adams has made it work and has finally undone Riley McKay over second place. Great move from Campbell Adams. He's knocked on the door several times coming out of turn 3, and now it's answered his call once more. It's second place in Adams' pocket as Oxchillo moves ahead of Joshua Lee as they dance over 5th place.
Yep, so this is now a big moment, because Campbell Adams is now the driver behind Gregory Prisball. You can tell Greg now knew it was time to go as he's tried to break DRS. He got out to 9 tenths. It is now over a second as they head through the detection, though. It's just inside a second. Campbell will be able to keep his rear wing open and close back up to the back of the Red Bull. But after so many attempts at a lunge, I think it was at a point where Campbell broke even later than usual from further back and caught Riley out that time. So Campbell Adams with 3 laps to go, lap 34, 35 and 36, puts himself in a position to try and keep this race, this championship race alive. It won't keep his championship race alive, but it'll keep Riley's alive if Gregory Prisball doesn't cross the line in first.
Absolutely right, and that's obviously, as far as Campbell Adams is concerned, he's just thinking about his own affairs right now, looking to become a race winner this season for a 3rd time. He took victories at Silverstone and Spa. He is the PSGL PCF3 champion, and he's trying to close on our current championship leader, Gregory Prisball, now as they march their way through the S section. Riley McKay down in 3rd, still within DRS, and so is Yusuf Said as well. By extension, Jack Humphries has managed to machete his way through the field and into 5th, so he's now 11.2 away from Yusuf Said right now. Obviously still a lengthy ways back from the others further up, so even a contest over P4 might not yet be on the cards for Jack Humphries, just due to the fact that he has been stuck in a huge train of cars. Ryan Bell also moving up in, as consequence as well, following on with Jack Humphries as now they begin the penultimate lap of this race here at Mexico. Campbell Adams now within DRS and will now be closing on the back of race leader and championship leader Gregory Prisball to deny Prisball of winning the championship. Here and now in Mexico City, we will see a dance between these two as they contest this Mexican race. As they now charge down the Tranzera in towards turn 3 once again. It is Prisball who leads the way. Campbell Adams now 3/10 away, and they have broken DRS on Riley McKay, who's down in third.
Yeah, and Campbell more than comfortable to sit behind. They're both recharging. They both have very similar battery between the two leaders at the moment. Riley McKay has dropped out, so this is now well and truly a two-horse race here for the race victory. These two are going to go at it onto the final lap. Surely the car behind with the DRS has the advantage, but you never know here. You never know what these drivers are thinking, what is going through their heads, but Campbell Adams is right there. This is going to be an ultimate challenge here for Gregory Prisball. One more lap to decide if he can bring this championship home early here in Mexico as they head towards lap 36 of 36.
The walls of defence are going to be largely up here on the account of Gregory Prisball. He is chasing a crown that would put him level with Jack Humphreys in terms of all-time great championship winners. Here in the OFI Cup, goes majorly defensive coming through turn 1, and here comes Campbell Adams, who looks to the outside. Can't quite get the move. Yusuf Said has moved up into third this time now. Will the opportunity arise here for Adams on the run down the Tranzera? This corner that he has utilised already to the benefit of himself, passing Riley McKay before over second. He dances now the inside. A major dummy sold. He's alongside Gregory Prisball, but not by enough. They made contact coming through the apex. Was that too aggressive there from what we just witnessed? And nose to tail, they make contact again. Argy-bargy on the final lap here, Lindsay.
Yeah, it was too late there for Campbell Adams. He swapped, he tried the dummy. If it did work, he would have looked like a hero, but instead they made big contact despite Gregory Prisball leaving the space. But now, as they head into the final sector, it is now potentially too late for Campbell Adams. There's one more opportunity into the hairpin. He uses all the road. Gregory Prisball covers the inside. Now Campbell Adams has one more opportunity into the final corner, but Gregory Prisball is ahead. But now, as they round the final bend of the circuit, Gregory Prisball crosses the line to win the race and the OFI championship.
5 times a race winner. It's Gregory Prisball, your Motorsport Australia Oceania F1 Invitational Cup champion. Brilliant stuff on the final lap. A final lap soiree, a last dance to decide the crown. Campbell Adams, unfortunately unable to unhook the championship from the grasp of Gregory Prisball, who walks away your champion of the OFI. A remarkable display. Great efforts on both parts for both drivers. It got fierce, didn't it, folks, on the final lap? But Campbell Adams, unfortunately for him, unable to make anything happen. Riley McKay finishes in third ahead of Yusuf Said, getting the move done, or at least I think the penalty going back in favour of McKay over third place. But an incredible contest. What a season it has been. We've still got 2 rounds to bring you, folks, which will be treated largely as a celebration of the Motorsport Australia OFI Cup. But your champion now this season, Gregory Prisball, he wins at Mexico, also snatching his 5th win as a whole this season.
That was unbelievable, George. That was absolutely incredible defense from Gregory Prisball. I thought that Campbell Adams had him for sure on that run towards turn 1, but then he tried the late lunge at turn 4 because he couldn't get it done into turn 1, and they came to blows. But Gregory Prisball, that is why he's champion of this series early, ladies and gentlemen. That is the depths he's willing to go, how deep he's willing to dig to hold on to a race win. That was phenomenal driving from Gregory Prisball. That was the drive of a champion, especially on that last lap.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I mean, obviously, it's been absolutely superb to watch. I mean, what an ending to this championship. Great effort on part of Gregory Prisball to hold back the tirade of certainly Campbell Adams, who gave an immense fight throughout the course of that one. And we can run through the results very quickly, which is nice to see because generally we don't get treated to them all the time. But Gregory Prisball is your race winner. He finishes ahead of Campbell Adams. The championship is over, folks. It is Gregory Prisball, your champion. Riley McKay, third. Yusuf Said, fourth. Jack Humphreys recovering to fifth with Ryan Bell in sixth. Oxchillo, Joshua Lee, T-Mac Websey, Sebastian King, and Flubber. Joey Snaff down in 13th with Marcus Costa retiring earlier on in the race as well. So there we have it. That is all she wrote. It's Gregory Prisball, your champion, everybody, of the OFI this season, powered by Motorsport Australia. What a way to win it. Had to put the defensive shields up in that final lap, Lindsay. I must say, that move from Campbell Adams coming through the Tranzera in towards the apex, coming into the chicane, inside that middle sector, it looked questionable to me. I think even if he had made it work, I think likely there would have been some steward's intervention there.
Yeah, it was late. It was clearly desperation there from Campbell Adams. And yeah, it looked like he should have just tried the outside and then maybe tried the switchback, the same sort of move that he could have tried to make on Riley McKay, just trying to switchback maneuver. But he decided to go late, tried to just switch back to the inside as late as possible. And that could have worked. But then they made big contact despite Gregory Prisball leaving the space. So I think you're right, George. I think that big clatter, that big piece of contact would have ended up being the difference post-race anyway. But Gregory Prisball held on despite all of the wheel rubbing, the tyre hooking, anything else that happened inside that mid-corner. It got quite messy. He held on, and then through the final corner, I thought that Campbell might have gotten a good exit because he started to pull up alongside, but Gregory Prisball with that short run to the line just held on, and that was absolutely fantastic to finish out his championship run.
It was absolute box office, I must say, folks. What a phenomenal contest. Obviously, we're looking ahead to our interviews that we will be bringing you very soon as well, so do not go away. We've got plenty of discussion to be had. But what a race. I mean, Lindsay, who stood out for you as far as you're concerned?
I think as far as I'm concerned, to be honest, it's the championship winner, Gregory Prisball. That was a great chase down to get to Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell. Not that it would have mattered in the end with the two-stop strategy in play. But then Gregory Prisball, he got to them, he overtook them, and then he was able to hold on that last lap. That made me, that made him my driver of the race. That was fantastic.
Well, I can tell you, folks, that our drivers are waiting for us in the commentary box waiting room, so we will pull in fact, our champion of all, Gregory Prisball, into the commentary box. Gregory, what a performance. A winner once again for the 5th time this season, and once again your continuous form of sequential P1s and P2s continues. You've not yet featured outside of the top 2 so far this campaign. A big battle on the final lap as well between yourself and Campbell Adams right at the very end on the final lap. I mean, you really did give it your all, and obviously I would say deserved winner of this particular race. Was there any question in your mind that Jack Humphreys might have unlocked perhaps a different strategy that might have perhaps prevented you winning?
Not really. I think knowing past like PSGL F1 races and WR and all the sort, that the one stop was clear. And I mean, we probably could have one stop from lap 9, the tire where we had. So I think I ended the race in like 70. So it was quite a bit to spare. I honestly thought they were one stopping at one point. That's where they were going, but I guess that was just their pace. So yeah, I mean, it was a good race between us at the top 3. Yeah, fun battle at the end, and nice to bring home the championship.
Yeah, never in doubt. And obviously, yes, as you so rightly say, you are champion of this season of OFI. You must be absolutely thrilled with that. Obviously, it now means, I believe, you are level with Jack Humphreys in terms of number of championships sewn up here in the OFI. That must be quite the honour to become, certainly, or reach the precipice of becoming one of Australia's greatest drivers here on the F1 platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to win the championship. I think, well, considering Campbell missed a few races and Prince missed the last 2, and Riley's had some really unlucky misfortunes over the course of the season, probably would have liked it to be closer for the spectacle and for myself, but I mean, the battles on track were tight, and that's all that matters. And yeah, what can I say? It's nice.
Well, you managed to convert it at the end of the day. I'm going to throw it to Lindsay now. Lindsay, do you have a question for our man Gregory?
Just when Campbell threw it up your inside on the last lap, what was going through your mind? Were you absolutely certain you were going to be able to stay ahead, or just what were your thoughts through that whole last lap, but especially when you went for it?
Well, I mean, you should know by now, Lindsay, that holding the inside is meta on any racing game. So that's what I did, well, except for turn 3 or turn 4, but that was lucky. I didn't get spun by the stupid contact model there. And yeah, I just held the inside, parked the bus, and hope for the best.
Well, I tell you what, it really did work for you, Greg. Well done. Congratulations on winning the championship here at Motorsport Australia's OFI Cup. We wish you all the very best in the final rounds, which I'm sure will be treated as a celebration on your part, as we can just enjoy some racing for the final 2. But congratulations on your part. Champion of this season, OFI.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gregory Priswell, everybody. Big thank you to him for joining us as always. We're now going to bring in our second place driver, Campbell Adams, who, despite challenging Gregory Priswell, was unable to deny him the title at the very last minute. A fierce fight on your part, Campbell. You tried to do something different by boxing later than everyone else inside the top end, and it almost worked for you, but it was an immense battle out there because sequentially there was no differentiation really on strategy, was there?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was all one stops. I mean, a few did a 2-stop, but majority did one. But yeah, I wasn't actually planning to go longer. I thought lap 40 was the box lap, and they all pitted lap 13 and 12, so a lot earlier than I expected. So yeah, I just had to box and react. Didn't work, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, but you gave a big fight to Greg towards the end, obviously trying to keep the title hopes elsewhere alive. Obviously for you it was probably more in vain than anything else, but it looked like it was a very fierce contest between you two out there.
Yeah, no, I knew Greg had the championship wrapped up, so I was just going for the win. But no, he was just too good today. Yeah, it's unfortunate with the game how it is. You just don't gain anything when you're close to the car in front. It's just impossible to overtake. So I had to be a little bit naughty to Riley a few times. To be fair, he was very clean with me. So it's just how it is. I'm surprised I actually got second in the end, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's you counteracting the slipstream, madness that we've got at the moment, and dirty air also by extension. Lindsay, I'm going to throw it to you.
Just to ask, as we head into the next round, the championship fight for the championship win might be over, but P2 against Riley definitely still on the cards as you head in towards Interlagos and Yas Marina. Are you still going to be gunning for that P2 in the championship?
I don't really mind. I just want to win races, so if it comes with a P2 in the championship, then I guess it's a bonus. But yeah, I'm just here to win races, I guess.
Well, Campbell, you certainly did prove to be a fierce competitor this season. We've still got 2 rounds to go as well in the final stages of this season. You must be looking forward to those. Just looking to end the championship on a high. Just try and capture as many wins as possible now before we finish at round 10.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. Just trying to win races.
Yeah, well, there you are. That's the great mentality. Thank you, Campbell, for joining us, and we wish you all the very best when we head to Brazil.
Thanks, George. Cheers, guys.
Great stuff. Campbell Adams, of course, joining us, folks, which is great to see. We're now going to bring in, because we haven't got Riley McKay joining us in the comms box, we've got Yusuf Said joining us instead, who, I have to say, I made comments like this right through the course of the broadcast, saying that this has been one of the most distinct improvers of OFI this season. Yusuf, another really gargantuan effort on your part, on the pace with the others up at the front. You must be delighted with that. The only difference separating you all was that you just had a 3-second time penalty, but you proved that the pace was there tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It was really disappointing to get that pen. Honestly, just a really lazy mistake, just misjudging the corner and getting that pen. But yeah, overall, really happy with the pace, and it was good to be up there with the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, Yusuf, just to certainly drift on to this topic, I mentioned you obviously standing out from previous, iterations where we've raced with the OFI Cup, and, you were always there inside the point segments, but it really does seem that you've turned things up a notch. heading into this season's run of the OFI Cup. Is there something you've changed? Is there something that you've put in place? Have you been working harder in developing your pace?
Yeah, it's just all about hard work, honestly. Getting those laps in and practicing. There will be setbacks, obviously, but that's all part of the process of improving. But yeah, and then as soon as you get the results, it just motivates you more to drive even more and practice even more to get faster. And yeah.
Brilliant stuff. I'm going to throw it to Lindsay now for the next one.
I honestly don't have much, George. You've covered it fairly well, but just heading into the final 2 races, is there anything more you want to achieve? Maybe standing on the top step with your recent form?
For sure, yeah. Definitely, I mean, try sneaking a win if we can with the top 3 guys fighting. But yeah, it would be nice to get a few podiums and just try end off on a high note.
Well, you certainly gave a huge effort against all those inside the top 3. It was a huge effort on your part, Yusuf. We do wish you all the very best as we head to Brazil. Congratulations on the P4, and we'll see you next time at Interlagos.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant stuff. Yusuf Said, everybody. P4 at the close of the race today. But I think what's important now at this point, Lindsay, is to discuss the actual championship standings, because, of course, we have had those given to us right now. We can just quickly give you those right now. Here's how it looks. Obviously, at the close of Mexico, we witnessed Gregory Prisbal, our current champion, 59 points deficit, far beyond now points obtainable in order to stop him from becoming champion once more. As you can see, that is how the standings currently look. It's actually looking a bit large on my screen, so I will shrink it for you all in the live chat as well, just so you can see absolutely everything. But yes, after confirming the results of Mexico, he returns to the top step, having managed to launch out a huge onslaught to the rest of the field. Has managed to come away with 5 P1 victories and also 8 top 5s, as well as other sensational visits. It was the British race as well as Belgium and USA that landed in P2s, but elsewhere, victories across the board, and now he's managed to obtain his 3rd championship as a driver in the OFI. A grand occasion for him, Lindsay.
Yeah, and I think that this is only the beginning for Gregory Prisbal. I think that now he's tied Jack Humphreys in championships. Surely now he wants to go above and beyond and claim a 4th, but that is for the future to decide. But unbelievable form from Gregory Prisbal to take that one out, and I think that now it leaves an opportunity for him to just enjoy the last 2 races of the championship. As he said, it'll be almost like a victory tour, and I think that the minor placings in the championship still have a lot left to be decided. A good example of that is Oxshillo and Ryan Bell. They're only separated by a point, so there's definitely still some championship places to be decided.
Absolutely right. So there's definitely stuff on the line as we now head to our next round. We can take a look at the calendar as well. Here we have it. Of course, we've just closed out our trip to Mexico. That was won by Gregory Prisbal, becoming a winner for the first time since Imola this season, and now making it 5 wins, and will now look to finish his season brightly, of course, with the championship in his right hand. We do have Brazil coming up next, which will be on the 4th of December. You don't want to miss that, folks. That, of course, coming next week, so do not miss it. All times, remember, Sydney, Melbourne time. We will end the season at Abu Dhabi, of course, the jewel in the crown for many a grand F1 calendar. And that will be featuring on the 11th of December, where we'll bid sayonara to this season of OFI. Brought to you and powered by Motorsport Australia. But folks, there we have it. That is pretty much all she wrote. We do appreciate, of course, you lot for tuning in as well. Please make sure, if you haven't done so already, to leave follows to this channel. Brought to you by Oceania F1 Invitational, powered by Motorsport Australia. Check out the social medias as well at Oceania_OFI as well. And make sure also, if you enjoyed the commentary, why not check out me and Lindsay as well. Lindsay, where can they find you, sir?
They can find me at Lindsay Model on TikTok and at Lindsay Model Commentary on Instagram.
Any final thoughts of the day, Lindsay, before we close out the show?
I mean, My final thoughts. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, but my final thoughts. It's more a congratulations to Gregory Prisball for taking out that championship, a championship drive in that final lap throughout that whole race, but also the whole season. He's looked unstoppable, so that was more than deserved.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Gregory Prisball, after landing the crucial blow, becoming champion of the OFI. If you enjoy the commentary as well from my side as well, guys, you can check out at George Morgan TV on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. It's always the same. But we will be back in a week's time when we head to Interlagos. Gregory Prisball, your champion now confirmed, but there are other places up for grabs. We'll see you next time when we go to Brazil. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.